What is up, guys? Zane from the Zane Madden YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to talk about the scariest quarters defense that exists in Madden 21. But before we get into the video, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys take the time to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads coming your way here on the Zane Madden YouTube channel. If you guys want to take your game to the next level in Madden 21, check out my strategy site, gridirongameplans.gg. Gridiron Game Plans is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault Update, we take a look at the meta, or the most effective tactics available being used by pro players on the MCS circuit, breaking down not only how and why the pros do what they do, but most importantly, how you can counter those metas when you face them in online gameplay. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every offensive and defensive game plan released on the website while your subscription is active. And I just last week released my gun doubles installation for my spread offensive game plan. This comprehensive look at the spread playbook with over 30 shotgun formations has now over 7 hours of content that attacks the 3-3-5 wide meta, the nickel 2-4-5. It also attacks the big nickel over G, the nickel 3-3-5 normal. All the defenses that you see online, this offense has an answer for it. In fact, the spread playbook is the only playbook in the game, in my opinion, that has an answer for everything. So check out all the installations on the website, all included for the low price of $9.95 a month. That's 52 vault updates a year. That's every offense and every single defense. So head over to gridirongameplans.gg and check it out. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Today, we're going to be talking about the scariest quarters coverage that exists in Madden 21. Now, little did we know that the nickel 2-4-5 double A gap actually has quarters coverage in it. And you have to look at a play known as Nickel Dog Meg. And I know that when you look at this, it doesn't look like it would be the same as an actual quarters coverage. In fact, if you guys are members of the website, you guys know very, very well that I break down quarters and palms on the website out of the nickel 2-4-5. I teach all of the nuance, everything that you need to know about all the offensive formations, how they're split, how they're spaced, how the match rules of quarters and palms work, because it's not a one size fits all coverage. It might do one thing against a certain formation, and it might do something else completely different against other formations in the game. And I'm going to prove to you that this is quarters here in the double A gap here in this video. So let's go ahead and get into this. For the purpose of this scheme, you're definitely going to want your fastest pass rushers coming in off the edge. So definitely, make sure that your pass rushing specialists are at those positions. In terms of the inside players, you definitely want to have coverage players. So guys like, Jeremy Chin, you obviously could put in, safeties in general at these two linebacker spots. They're not nearly as important unless you're really ramping up the blitz. Now, in terms of how I would set up my coverage for this, I would definitely make sure that I have, basically you want to have coverage corners at safeties because we are playing a match style coverage. So if you have extra corners that have decent man coverage skills on top of zone skills, you're going to want to put them at this spot. Now, if you guys are playing Ultimate Team, this should come as no problem to you guys. You guys have deep rosters at this point, with it being late April heading into early May. So you should have a really deep roster at this point. Now let's go ahead and get into the Nickel Dog Meg. And you'll see here that I run this as, in my scheme, I actually amp up this as a kind of a quarters blitz look. You see that I've called it 13 times for negative 0.4 yards. So when I call this, it works. But I call it more as a pressure look. We're going to teach this as a coverage look here today. So let's go ahead and kind of break down this against more of a spread trips look, Y trips. And I'm just going to hot route master out of this. So we'll go ahead and call this with auto flip on, so that way our nickel corner aligns to the trip side of the field. Now, for the purpose of spacing, I'm going to move the ball back. I'm going to put it on let's put it on the south 40. So we'll put it right here at the 40-yard line, trips to the wide. Now, as we take a look at the play art here, you can tell that this is kind of like a hybrid coverage call. Now, what this is trying to achieve right here, EA wants us to call this particular play against trip sets, as I've done here. And the reason that they want us to do this is they want to play kind of this MEG, M-E-G, meaning man everywhere he goes, on the solo receiver on the backside. Now, we actually can achieve Meg, or man everywhere he goes, on the backside by just taking Jackson and taking him out of man coverage and put him in the quarter. The reason that we want to do this is that in the event that our opponent audibles around, whether they audible into 2x2 spread or gun doubles, or they motion a slot receiver across to make it twins to the left, we don't want to have Dante Jackson in man coverage on this guy and have the left sideline completely wide open in the event that they set up a route that sends somebody to that deep left area of the field. We want to make sure that we have that area covered accordingly in our quarters coverage. Now, the difference between this coverage and regular quarters coverage is that we don't have a 3 receiver hook. You'll notice that if I go to try to bluff blitz my inside linebacker, I only have zone coverage combinations and man up options available, as well as quarterback spy. So what we have to do is we have to get a little bit creative with this. So one thing that I typically will do is I will typically take one of the 2D tackles and put them in a bluff blitz assignment. Now, for the purpose of, how this kind of works, it would be smarter for me to take my running backside 3-rec player or D tackle and put him in the 3-rec, because that bluff blitz will allow him to kind of drop from the weak side. And if they were to run the ball, at least we'll have the defensive tackle opposite of the running back engaging. So this will just make for a better run defense. Now, in terms of this player right here, Franklin, this player is a wild card. This player can individually man up on any option. You could put him on a tight end if you wanted to. You can man him up on a receiver. This is nice because, again, we have a safety at this spot. So you get a better coverage player than, say, like a slower plotting middle linebacker type. So this player is going to be able to play man coverage. He can drop into really anything you want. Truthfully, you can put him into hook curl to the left if you wanted to and kind of leave him in his gap. You can move him around. You can just put him into a hook curl to the right if you wanted to. Now, the 3-rec hook is definitely going to drop to the right, but the 3-rec hook might have to cover a drag that crosses underneath. So having a hook curl to the left and a 3-rec on the same side in terms of your play art isn't necessarily a bad thing. So keep that in the back of your mind as well. But for the purpose of this, we could leave him rushing. So I'm going to leave him rushing, making this a 4-man rush. Now, here on the edge, this is where you're really going to need your best pass rushers. You'll notice that there is a 2-gap assignment by this defensive player, the edge rusher. Go ahead and re-blitz him to make sure that he doesn't go on a 2-gap. You kind of want him getting a smooth pass rush angle off the edge. Now, this is where I'm going to tell you guys, if you guys want the most intricate details possible about how quarters coverage works, I need you to go to gridirongameplans.gg. Again, I've broken this down against anything and everything that you could possibly run. Again, if you saw at the beginning of the video, the amount of calls I've had out of 2-4-5 quarters and palms and cover 6, cover 9, Tampa 2, cover 3, show 2. I make all these defenses look the same. And basically, without going too deep into it, quarters coverage is a coverage in which you have these 4 deep zones, and they are typically responsible for matching wide receivers and tight ends and, potentially even running backs, depending on the route combination vertically. So, to keep this simple, stupid, Troy Pride is responsible for B if he goes vertical. Thomas Oliver III is responsible for right bumper if he goes vertical. Over here on this sideline, Dante Jackson is responsible for Mike Evans if he goes vertical. If you remember, he was the one that was manned up on Evans to begin with. Now, this player right here, Douglas, he is responsible for getting over, because if you think about it, Thomas Oliver is responsible for this guy. You have Pride responsible for this guy. The tight end doesn't have anybody on him yet, right? So this guy on the weak side quarter is technically responsible for the tight end if he goes vertical. This gives all 4 of those options, with the exception of the running back, somebody to play them man-to-man if they run vertical. Now, if they decide to run other routes like to the flat or underneath on a crosser or, stand a block, this is going to allow these players to either match other routes or freedom to poach, which is one of the best things about quarters coverage. So basically, my responsibility, if I'm using Douglas here, which I will blitz him for the purpose of making him more agile as a user, my responsibility at the snap is to look at the tight end. If the tight end releases vertically, I have to take him. If he runs a drag or a flat, I've got underneath zones in the form of quarter flats and a 3-rec hook to, sort that out on their own. So that would give me freedom to poach any route that comes my way if Gronk doesn't run a vertical route. Now, to prove that this is quarters coverage, remember that I took Dante Jackson off of his man, which I said that EA was just built in, basically it was a built-in Meg or man everywhere he goes on the solo receiver. I put him in a quarter. This is where I can prove that this is quarters rules, because when you have a formation that has one receiver by three receivers, so 1, 2, and the tight end counts as 3, what ends up happening is no matter what route Mike Evans runs, the guy that is on him or over the quarter just knows that he is playing match coverage the whole way. So I want you to watch this. You will not see Jackson drop off the ball. You will actually see him play the smoke route to Mike Evans. Now, I've set up 3 verticals on the wide side of the field. So with Douglas, I've got to go get Gronk. So when this happens, I got to go get him. And you see that we are able to play this accordingly. So it looked pretty good. It looked pretty good. Man everywhere he goes. Now, what if I send Evans on a, let me go ahead and just, I want to put a unique route on the field here. I want to put him on a flat post. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to block the running back. Maybe we go ahead and let's go ahead and streak the slot receiver, and I'm going to run Brown on a drag underneath. So this is our route combo, right? So again, I'm going to put Dante Jackson in that quarter zone. I'm going to 3-rec Obata. You could go ahead and spy Franklin if you wanted to. That would give you a, a nice little quarterback scramble option. Obviously, you don't have to worry about that with Brady. And again, we're back in quarters coverage. Now, what I would do again is I'm paying attention to Gronk with this guy. If Gronk doesn't run a route, I can do whatever I want. But I want you to watch the rest of the route combination. So the ball's snapped. My guy doesn't run vertical. I could go poach whatever I want. I could play the crosser to X. I could do whatever I want. So you saw right there that the backside player that we put into the quarter zone played solo check, or Meg, man everywhere he goes. So this solo check, where the solo receiver runs a route, he's going to play him everywhere he goes. Now, this is still going to rely on man coverage versus route running, but you see that he played that route and followed it all the way across the field. Now, in terms of the rest of this Nickel Dog Meg coverage, you have quarters rules. So this guy is looking to take Antonio Brown if he runs a vertical. Antonio Brown goes under. He says, you know what? I'm going to follow, which I'm not sure why he did. I believe that was actually probably, this actually is probably playing a special check rule, which is a trips rule where the outside guy will follow him no matter where he goes. In fact, that's exactly what happens right here. So this is playing Palms rules to the trips side of the field. And then here in the slot, we're getting, the match coverage here. In which case we would have, there was a little bit of some broken coverage here on this, but we could have actually, with our user on this play, gotten over to the trip side, which is usually what I do. I will cheat over the trip side, make sure there's no breakdowns in coverage logic with this guy, and we can play from there. So what you saw here on this play, I'm not sure why this played this way, but the quarter flat ended up chasing, I believe he ended up chasing the drag or something really late on this, but a small breakdown in the coverage logic. And quarters isn't without its little bugs, which is we're talking about here in this video. That's again things that I go into on the website. So what we're playing over here on this side is more of a palm special check, meaning that while we're playing man everywhere he goes on this guy, we're actually playing man everywhere he goes, I believe, on the B receiver as well with Pride. So what ends up happening here is now this quarter flat, if the slot goes vertical, the quarter flat takes him. And then I believe Thomas Oliver is probably playing relation to Gronkowski. Let me confirm that just here real quick. So I'm going to put double smokes. Let's go ahead and put a streak, and let's put a corner route on the field here. And what I'm guessing here, this is just spitballing, kind of live labbing in the middle of this video, is that we're going to see man-to-man Jackson on Evans. We're going to see man-to-man Pride on Antonio Brown. We're going to see the quarter flat run to the corner, and we might see Thomas Oliver play the streak. If he doesn't, that'll be my responsibility. So let's go ahead and check that there. Ball snapped. Bingo. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. Okay, so that previous video, or that previous snap where we had the breakdown in the coverage logic, that was because they were playing a palm special check. Which actually means now that with our, again, I'm getting super deep into this for a YouTube video, But what that basically means here is that I have a lot more freedom on this play than I once thought. So I can actually poach pretty much anything. Now, in terms of underneath logic, you've actually got the ability with Jeremy Chinn. If the running back runs a route, Jeremy Chinn's going to follow him no matter where he goes. Now, there are man beaters. So if I were to put the running back on a Texas route, Jeremy Chinn's going to get cooked. So you can see right there, he's going to get beat. Actually, right there, he did a pretty good job, but Fournette's really not that athletic a route runner. Now, why is this the scariest quarters coverage? I've obviously proven here that this is a combination. It's basically a palms coverage with a backside Meg. And what we are going to establish here is that so many players don't understand offensively how to attack quarters. So what we're going to end up being able to do with this is kind of on a whim, we can go ahead and do the whole, if you remember the mid blitz meta from the one step ahead days, basically where we can just kind of mug a gap right here. This is going to allow us, anytime they send 5 guys out on a route, to be playing, you know, the coverage accordingly. So let's say that we do something like this. We know that over here, we don't have any of our palms coverage on the right side of the field compromised. In terms of what we're lacking here on this play, we're lacking technically 1 quarter flat. Now with us right here, I can actually play in relation to the running back. We already know that X is going to be covered by the deep blue zone, no matter if he runs a drag, a slant, a streak, a post, a C route, doesn't matter, a comeback route. The only guy that's really unaccounted for is technically the running back, because we're playing match coverage here, here, and here. So if the running back leaks on this play, which a lot of players will send 5 guys out on routes, this is guaranteed pressure. So I can snap this ball, go out there. Now we're getting double pressure on this while we're still playing match rules. Well, now, you know, if we can get pressure on them out of this look, you know, you're also going to be in the spot where you can kind of mix in more of, you know, this look, right? Where, sorry, let me go ahead and bluff blitz that guy, where we can actually just play the quarters rules. But now we're in a spot where we've kind of scared them, right? Maybe they block the running back. Maybe they delay fade the tight end, and they, you know, they end up doing something like, you know, some sort of levels crossing combination. They motion a guy in. Now they're terrified of us blitzing, right? Well, ball snapped, we bail out. It's just a base rush. Now I'm playing match rules. Everything's covered, right? So I took that crosser coming right at me, and we were in really good shape to defend this. So, you know, this is basically quarters, but we've got, or technically palms here, but we've got the mid blitz meta mixed in. So, you know, you've got 2 setups here. You've got the global blitz everyone meta, where you could just, you know, rush everyone, or you can, you know, drop this guy into a 3-rec, this guy into a spy, and you're in straight up quarters. You've got the 2 quarter flats, the 3-rec hook, and the 4 quarters. Again, you blitz this guy just because you're responsible for that assignment, and you're going to be able to take, you know, your user and kind of poach accordingly. But, you know, you've got both sets of rules here. You can amp it up and you can drop it. And the problem is so many players struggle with quarters when it's just a pass rushing shed defense, right? It's one of those, you know, defenses where you put pass rushing abilities on your defensive linemen, and you know, you just rush 2 or 3 while they struggle to beat the match rules because they don't know them in and out. Well, now in this, you've got this terrifying look where all I have to do is hit right, you know, right on the D-pad and down, and, you know, we're now blitzing crib, and, you know, if they don't, you know, they could block a tight end, but, you know, if they do it this way, we could still go out there and play quarters coverage accordingly, you know, and guys are going to match, and it's still going to be very confusing no matter what the offense tries to do. So you've got this pretty terrifying look of quarters coverage, palms coverage, and the mid blitz meta mixed in. So I wanted to go ahead and share this with you guys. This was something that obviously was on Gridiron months ago. And again, this is something that I will situationally audible into. Again, you saw it in games. I've called it about 15 times for negative 0.5 yards per play. So I really bring the pressure with it. But obviously you do have the ability to drop it and make it pure quarters coverage out of a AA gap look. So if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, drop those below as well. Make sure you guys subscribe here to the YouTube channel and check out gridirongameplans.gg. Again, guys, $9.95 per month unlocks the entire website. I will be back on Twitch this week, twitch.tv/ZanMadden, We'll be doing split streams between Madden and MLB this week. So Madden is back in the rotation after playing the launch week of MLB. Hopefully I'll see you guys over there. We'll be live today around noon, Monday through Friday, 12 to 6 p.m. We will be hanging out on draft night, Thursday, the first round of the NFL draft. We'll be hanging out on stream until 9 p.m. So hopefully you guys will drop by. I'll be running some of the spread content, spread ace, spread doubles, some of the spread 2x2 stuff, and also continue to kick some tail with this 2-4-5 quarters defense. So hopefully I'll see you guys over there. If not, I'll see you guys right back here with tomorrow's upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab and good luck.